though it's going to be a light night, we'll go ahead and get started. We'll make it kind of quick tonight. There's not a ton in the news, but there's some good key issues and key things that have come out. One of which I will kind of start, and I'll allow Dave to elaborate on a little bit. Um, but I just wanted to touch base with y'all. We do have some exciting news, and we've got some kind of bummer news, but at the same time, we felt it was better overall, at least for the meantime. But I'm going to start with some interesting news. This is coming out of DJI, and let me get my screen share going here, 'cause apparently I'm not doing that yet. Let's see. Screens. No. I just want. Okay, here we go. I think this is it.
Yeah, don't share the wrong tab.
All right. So we've got DJI is releasing a mini special edition, and it's basically a revamp of the original DJI Mavic Mini. And cool thing about this is it's got the same features as the original Mini. It's all around pretty much the same thing. Supposedly, it comes with a controller and everything for $300, and it's being sold supposedly at Walmart. Now, I did go on Walmart's website and I couldn't find it, so either they may be sold out. But I did find a couple DJI Mini kits, like the Fly More combos, that were sub $500. And when this thing came out, and the DJI Mini 2, they're both $500 opening price point, and that's not including like Fly More combos or anything like that. So and apparently it's been kind of released with zero fanfare. But the interesting thing about it is, the DJI has pretty much gotten their money's worth out of the original Mini. So being able to sell possibly excess inventory, or still keep the easy production going on these and still make a little bit more money out of them is obviously a good idea for them. As well as there's some other competitors coming into the market with the sub 250 aerial photography type drones, um, including a new Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro. Um, so it's pretty interesting. I've always wanted one of these DJI Minis, so I might pick one up if I can find one for $300. That's for sure. Just to have something I can throw in a backpack if I'm out hiking or something like that. So, um, yeah, pretty much some interesting feedback there. Now, this is something I believe we talked about. Was it last week, Dave? Or was it during our meeting? This is the NASA UAS safety reporting system.
It was during our meeting. Yep.
So we were kind of talking about this during our intercompany meeting here, but I wanted to kind of bring this up because it's an interesting kind of program that NASA's operating. So the NASA UAS safety reporting system is open, and you can volunteer information guaranteed to be kept confidential and not get you into trouble with the FAA. The NASA UAS safety reporting system is part of NASA's aviation safety reporting system, which is voluntary, confidential, and non-punitive. It's a safety reporting system that receives safety reports from pilots, air traffic controllers, dispatchers, cabin crew, maintenance techs, and now UAS operators. The aviation safety reporting system has been a part of the aviation safety culture for over 45 years and has collected and analyzed over 1.7 million safety reports. These reports describe unsafe occurrences, hazardous situations, and lessons learned to help prevent others from making the same mistakes.
And that's just the number from Alex's crashes during his race practice, right?
Possibly.
Well, that actually brings up something that I was wondering. What if we reported local BV loss racing and show how how there aren't really any incidents, so they have data on that to prove it.
Well, it'd
that it's
be.
safe.
I don't think that's exactly
But-
what they're looking for, but that
Could be a way that they could get data.
possibility. It could be, absolutely.
It is a way they could get data because it is anonymized.
Mm-hmm,
And
absolutely.
when we were working on the Drone Advisory Committee Safety Culture Tasking Group, this became a big topic, and the folks who fly manned aircraft feel that this was one of the most significant events in safety aviation or safe aviation in the United States. And we got to chat with the folks at NASA and ask them up one side and down the other, is it really anonymized? And not only were the NASA people firm on, no one can get the data. We wipe the data clean before it gets archived and before it gets stored anywhere. And also the pilots who used it and were like, yeah. And so it has a significant benefit in manned aviation. And I know we were making light of this with respect to recreational. But as we thought about it from a perspective of Part 107, folks coming in, maybe they're a videographer and they're getting into drones and they've got their 107, might have utility there. But we do. But Alex, you also bring up a good point. Not the design point of the tool, but possibly a way to get data on BV loss because it's anonymized. I like that thought a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The long range groups could even share their stuff too.
Yes. Yeah, it's a good
I would.
point.
Let's see. We got XJet BV LOS. It can't be done without a huge toll in lost lives. Well, I think that's kind of the point. Is that getting them the data points to potentially see that it's not a huge toll in lost lives would be key, and I think that's kind of key to Alex's point there. TextJet, I would report something, but I never see a drone, quad, UAS in the air except for my own. And that just comes around to, the area around you, if it's a big hot spot for drone activity or not.
Are they asking for only unsafe things, or are they asking for anything?
So I was just going to go into that. So it says that this is not the place to report criminal activity or a serious accident, but it is a place to report problems like a near miss with another aircraft, issues that arise from equipment failure, communications loss, environmental hazards, human error, and more. NASA uses the information to develop best practices for procedures and checklists for drone safety ops and to communicate lessons learned so that other pilots won't make the same mistake. Additionally, information could be used to identify equipment, software, and automation issues that can contribute to UAS incidents and resolve these issues to improve safety, NASA points out. It says NASA, the UAS safety reporting system is only as useful as drone pilots make it. To encourage honest reporting, the system is confidential, something that NASA emphasizes. All reports are held in strict confidence and de-identified by the ARS safety analyst. The resulting anonymous aviation safety data is shared with the aviation and UAS communities. The ID strip containing your name, address, phone number is removed and sent back to you by mail as proof of submission. The report is de-identified and personal references are moved and dates and times locations are generalized. NASA will not reveal your identity.
Right, and this is self-reporting. From looking at some of the chats, this is not reporting someone else. This is self-reporting. So, I shouldn't have done this. You send in a report on yourself, and it gets logged and anonymized. Easy to notice.
And it also goes on to say drones have a great safety record as industry moves forward into aircraft certification, more advanced operations. Data about personal risks and problems is critical for drone pilots as well as lawmakers. The drone industry has developed. What's that?
I said that sounds like we could submit our BV law stuff.
Well, I mean, it's open now, so maybe we can go in and explore what the options are. If we got time towards the end of this, we'll go in it together as a group and we'll see what we find there.
Yeah, I'd just be curious if they did find a way to use it against you.
Yeah, so
the answer to that is no, because
everything's anonymous.
There's
Well,
no connection back to you.
like what Bruce is saying. Oh, suddenly we've seen this huge spike in reports, so things must be bad. So we should have more regulations because there's a whole bunch of reports of safety violations.
As a population, absolutely, you've got a point. But in terms of enforcement to an individual, no. Yep.
Yeah. I kind of see where you're coming from, Dan, in terms of, future regulatory actions or something like that. And that does make sense. But at the same time, the general gist, I think, in terms of reporting stuff would be, will I get in trouble if I self-report? And the answer to that. So
I like Text Check's comment. They must think I'm stupid. Can't keep from doing stupid things. So this is used by airline pilots, so as well as just about everyone in manned aviation. So and they rave about it. So it's we talked about including this in this conversation, and we had some of the same initial responses, but it's here and it's there for our use, and already Alex has come up with a good productive idea.
And that may be something we can work with them about. Maybe instead of just, we can, talk with them and be like, hey, instead of just focusing on unsafe occurrences, let's focus on let's bring a second focus on good examples of the way things are being utilized.
The thing is, BV loss, they consider it unsafe. Currently, they consider it unsafe, so it would still fall under this until they get the data.
Right.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they would need a separate thing.
I see where you're coming from. I got you. All right, so this is pretty cool. This is going to be obviously more of a kind of blend between manned aviation and unmanned, but this is Boeing's refueling drone. This is a pretty cool thing, and in fact, Dave sent this to me the other day as a cool article, and my wife sent this to me about 2 days before that. So she thought it was pretty spiffy too. So an unmanned aircraft produced by Boeing recently performed the world's first air-to-air refueling. During the test flight, the MQ-25 Stingray successfully extended a hose and drogue to safely transfer jet fuel to a U.S. Navy FA-18 Super Hornet. The FA-18 test pilot flew in close formation behind the MQ-25 to ensure performance and stability prior to refueling. Both aircraft were flying at operationally relevant speeds and altitudes. With the evaluation safely completed, the MQ-25 drogue was extended, and the FA-18 pilot moved to plug with the unmanned aircraft and received the scheduled fuel offload. They said this is a history-making event, is credited to our joint Boeing and Navy team that is all in on delivering MQ-25's critical aerial refueling capability to the fleet as soon as possible. So this is pretty cool, and this is a tiny little thing. It looks like it's extending the drogue just off a fuel tank that's sitting under the wing, but still pretty cool to be able to pop one of these up.
It struck me as really interesting. Is it Alex? Do you know the designation of the current fueler? Is it KC-146?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's based on a 707 or a DC-10.
I thought
maybe?
it was. I don't think it's a. I don't remember
old.
exactly.
old.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you follow federal grant contracts, Airbus won the contract to build the United States a military fueling tanker, and that was stopped. And the U.S. government said, maybe we should ask a U.S. manufacturer to provide a tanker for us for refueling. And so that's in the works. And then I saw this and thought, wow, a little refuelers. How interesting. Because these things are normally monstrous. And
well, yeah, I mean, they're carrying massive amounts of fuel, but even just for, I mean, this could be useful in like, high intensity situations where a big aircraft would be a problem, where, these little ones, especially
little
if you
more
make one of
stealth.
these stealth. That can be a little more clandestine,
I,
I guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if every other spot in the aircraft that isn't the engine and everything is a fuel tank too.
Really? Yeah.
I wouldn't be
agreed.
surprised.
Yeah, why not?
'Cause, yeah,
You're not risking a pilot.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They could use 737 Max 8.
Ooh.
I wonder how they got their BV loss waiver.
The military. All right.
Okay.
Let's see. This comes from Aviation Today. Link. So the FAA is asking for a budget increase for unmanned traffic sustainability and safety oversight. So the FAA administration is requesting a budget increase for 2022 as it seeks to update its air traffic control system, make investments in safety and next generation systems, and address the impact of aviation on climate change. The budget request was released on May 28th and totals 18.5 billion, a 2.7 increase from this year, with 11.4 billion for safety operations. It goes into detail. So the FAA is requesting a total of over 100 million in funding for UAS research, development, and integration. The request includes 23.1 million and 46 full-time permanent and 23 full-time equivalent employees to be divided between aviation safety, security, and hazardous material safety, and air traffic organization. This funding will help manage the implementation of rules, legislation, and policy like remote ID and UAS traffic management, improve outreach and support to UAS stakeholders, and expand partnerships with state, local, and tribal governments. They are also requesting 31.3 million for UAS implementation, which includes 2.9 million for the FAA Drone Zone website, which is the cloud-based IT platform that includes UAS registration, Part 107 authorization, and waivers and accident reporting.
Man, you could build a heck of a website for a few $1 million.
Bro, like
Your own way too.
that's insane. $2.9 million. Goodness, these people. Let's see. As part of the FAA's next gen budget request, the agency wants $24 million for UAS concept validation and requirements development, UAS flight information management, and urban air mobility. So, for those not in the know, UAS urban mobility would be things like flying taxis and stuff like that. So,
another interesting aspect of the there was some organizational push and pull around urban air mobility, and there was a push to have it separated from UAS and separated to have their own FACA, not the Drone Advisory Committee. And it looks like it's going the other way and staying together. So that's important from who you are, organizational, the authority of one organization versus another.
Let's see. We've also got 22 million for a UAS research program to study UAS in the national airspace and develop regulatory standards. This research would develop and validate detect and avoid systems, command and control link performance, and pilot and visual observer training and qualifications.
Probably some of that would go to the CTI program for the schools.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's
the weird part is visual observer training.
That's alluding to things that
is going to need to be certified.
That doesn't need it now. They're sort of jumping to a conclusion there by saying we're going to do research on this. Oh, but we're also going to jump ahead and pay for for that training, like before we've even done the research to see if it's necessary.
Interesting. So let's see. XJet, have these people actually looked out their windows and seen that the skies aren't exactly darkened by swarms of drones? When in fact, when look, don't see even a single drone ever. Yeah, it's pretty rare. I'll catch one every great once in a while, but
I don't
Rules
even
made
see
through
my
ignorance or
own because I've got
stupidity.
goggles on.
Well, I mean, you see your propellers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, on certain frames. So it's in visual line of sight. I'm sorry, I went there. All right. So lots of extra money. Hopefully, extra money does not include extra regulations, but you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, with a little bit 46 full-time permanent staff and 23 full-time equivalent, maybe we'll have a little group of people that can help us reach out to the FAA.
That should be
A little
plenty
bit
of money
better,
to hold
as a hobby.
a recreational symposium once a year.
You know, I think so.
And not
Kinda
have to
with
charge
it. And it does
everybody
say
hundreds of
outreach,
dollars
so
to attend.
right? Well, it does say outreach. That's one of their reasoning. So we will definitely be communicating about that. So all right, next. If you happen to live in Louisiana, I don't know if anybody does, but
Some people do.
so flying a drone near a pipeline could soon cost you $4,000 in Louisiana. I guess there's a new bill that's in front of the governor there that would seriously increase the penalties for flying drones over petrochemical facilities and pipelines, doubling the previous fine from 2,000 to 4,000, as well as increasing the maximum prison sentence from 1 year to 2 years for a second offense. Let's see. It says told a House lists Jeff Hirsch, a lieutenant detective with the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office, told a House Administration of Criminal Justice Committee. Wow, that's a lot of big words. Last month, that his office had detected 58,000 drones and has talked to 32 drone operators who had flown illegally over certain facilities. But Hirsch added most of those operators weren't Antifa or some other conservative boogeyman, but rather kids playing around with their new toy. 58,000 drones in 1 month. In 1 month.
Yeah.
Somebody's making some stuff up here.
Or they're just
I'm with you, Text
detecting airwaves from really
Maybe
far away.
Yeah, it could be a big area.
What's their detection method?
Something like aeroscope, just
So-
checking out any possible
Yeah.
frequencies that match, and it's crazy.
Saying that's a drone.
58,000 drones. Yeah, I'm calling bull honky on that one.
Yeah, and
All
none
right,
of those
so it may
pipelines
seem
were
like-
damaged in any way.
Oh,
Most
well,
of
you
it was
know, I
kids.
mean, yeah.
At least the ones that they talk to.
Those are the only ones they could catch.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting. I'm not going to go into depth on the rest of it, but I just wanted to kind of call that out. If you fly in Louisiana, don't fly over the petrochemical plants. Hopefully you're not one of the supposed 58,000 people or 58,000 drones. That's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot of battery packs in one day.
You hit for
Every day.
real.
Racing practice. How many would that be a day? That'd be over 1,000 a day.
58,000 drones in the whole Southwest. That's funny.
Well, if it's the same pilot doing racing practice nearby,
Yeah.
that's a lot of pack.
Crazy. All right, so this is kind of some of our big news. The FAA administrator announces a formation of a beyond visual line of sight rulemaking committee for drones. So this is similar to the original ARC that came through. That they are now creating a BVLOS rulemaking committee. So this group is going to be made up of, Dave, I think about 90 different people, companies, organizations that kind of run the gamut of the UAS industry and kind of beyond. With some of these, we've got people like Verizon and Google Wing and fun stuff. But awesomely, we were asked to join this as well, the FPVFC. So this is going to be a pretty cool thing where we can go in and basically help the agency develop a regulatory path for routine beyond visual line of sight operations. So we're hoping as usual, that we're able to make an impact. I believe currently our track record is pretty good with being able to make some impact on some regulations and recommendations that have been put forth to the FAA on regulations. So we're hoping to carry that into this next endeavor that we're going to be joining here. So Dave, I'll let you kind of pick up on this a little bit.
Yeah, and we're happy to be asked to participate in this aviation rulemaking committee. There are, as Josh was saying, 90 other companies, and that's it. Also notable is that there are no other recreational organizations or associations. Now,
Yeah,
that's
to go to
consistent,
Jack's point there, he's like saying it should be loaded with recreational, but like you're saying, it's just the FPV Freedom Coalition.
I'm going to be dropping a link here that's got the different members, the proposed members.
Yeah.
AMA is not on there either.
That was AMA is not there, DJI is not there. So yeah, we're it in terms of recreational representation. Now the good news is from the work that we've done on the DAC, as well as being associated with the drone DSPA, DSP Alliance, Drone Service Provider Alliance. Kenji Sugahara is on this group. So there are a number of people, as well as John Hagrains from Aloft, previously named Kitty Hawk. So lots of people that we know and we've been working with. So we'll be able to create a coalition. More committee loading. Yes. Okay. We're still positive because we are making a difference in the 7 DAC tasking groups that we've been on, and we'll be able to make a difference on this. And it's we have a respected reputation, and this is positive. And so I'm enthused about this.
Also, to Bruce's point, where he's talking about beyond visual line of sight is legal in Canada for sub 250 gram craft, I believe we're planning on getting more data from Canada to pass along through the ARC to the FAA, specifically about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. One of the things that's also significant is that there will be the, for those of us of my vintage from Get Smart days, the cone of silence will be lowered. And so we will not be able to talk about the contents of this. The information will be embargoed. And unfortunately, it may never see the light of day. It will most assuredly be passed from the ARC to the FAA, but it may not be public. We'll see. Certainly, I would like to see it public, and I'd like to see periodic announcements. But that's the way that these work. I'll note that if you search on the remote ID ARC, that was a group of far more than 90 people. They met for several years. But that document was not taken in as input into the remote ID NPRM, but it was heavily referenced and considered as part of the ASTM standard as well as the final rule. So this will be an opportunity for us to get our voices heard.
Mm-hmm. There are some, I'm going to point out there are some excellent companies that are on here, and Dave mentioned Aloft. And we've got drone responders on here. Got a couple of the test sites that are being utilized. You've got, let's see, who else do we have? I'm trying to go through all of these. We have the ASTM, which is an organization that we are involved with as well in terms of working on remote ID modules, broadcast modules, and whatnot.
And a member.
Yep, absolutely. And so there are some excellent companies on here, and then there's companies like or organizations like the Commercial Drone Alliance and stuff that we're gonna have to kind of figure some stuff out with. But at the same time, that's what these groups are for, is to kind of get abroad. Now, we wish that recreational, absolutely.
Yeah, really,
But
hopefully we can get them to, again, stress the fact that one size doesn't fit all. That when people are talking about gigantic delivery drones flying from Amazon warehouses to do beyond visual line of sight is a totally different thing from a recreational FPV user flying in a park.
So, and another thing is that through his work on the DAC, Dave has made some great friends among a lot of these different organizations. So we have built up our list of allies. So rest assured, we will tap that energy as well when we're working on this stuff. Now, the first set of recommendations to come out of this is a 6-month timeline after creation. Correct, Dave?
Correct. And what they want is they want the arc to be done. And so while the term or the period that the arc is chartered, I think it's 5 years. They want the charter open so that there can be follow up. But the objective is, create a report 6 months, you're done, and then it's any subsequent follow up.
Mm-hmm. So again, one of the things that we've been successful with pushing through the DAC would be the one size does not fit all approach, as Dan was saying. So again, we will continue to push that as well. But just so you guys are aware, we definitely believe that. We definitely believe that recreational is much different from commercial operations, and that we should have kind of our own carve out. So and we've been working with a group from, and I've touched on this before, a group at the drone integration office, and have been talking some things through about not only some FAA outreach to the recreational community, a la a recreational symposium, where we can kind of get together and have our own little conference and do emerging technologies, host races, and stuff like that. But as well as possible, inroads to creating a different set of regulations for recreational. Now, again, that's just hearsay at this point. There's no confirmation of this, that, or the other, but the topic has been broached. So um, we're doing the work, and we're trying our best to make sure that we can continue what we uh, love to do. And I think we kind of dodged a bullet with the remote ID, and that's while not the ultimate greatest outcome in terms of what people will need to do, it's much easier than what was originally proposed. So and it makes a whole lot more sense, and technology permitting is not going to be super expensive or difficult or anything. So it should be easy to work with. Now, again, you know, this is really great news. We didn't approach the FAA in terms of being added to this committee. We didn't even know that they were creating it. They asked us, so that's a great compliment of the work that we've been doing with them and for the community, to be asked to do something like this. Even so, when organizations like the AMA are not included. So, and that's not a beat down on the AMA by any stretch. I don't know why that was. We didn't make the list, but it's a compliment to us, and we're gonna take it as such at this point. So, um, but anywho, that's all I have in terms of news. Dave, what else you got for us, sir?
One more item just finished up last week. Was the FAA symposium, and the FAA symposium is a large event. It's also jointly held with the AUVSI, and it is pretty much exclusively a commercial drone event. And so we had, I was asked to moderate a panel on recreational. And so I did that with Andy Graber, who is the general manager of Get FPV, Rob Lowe of the FAA, and Katie Gilmore, a drone pro, and also works for Minnesota Department of Transportation. So it went off well, was well received. And this is working with the commercial population or community in an effort to gain an understanding and better visibility to recreation. So I think it was time well spent and was very well received. And as Josh was saying, you know, early days discussions on, hey, it really would be nice if we had, if we're talking about outreach, wouldn't it be nice if we had an analogous event for recreational, because the FAA symposium is expensive. It's a couple $100 per person to attend virtually, and to me, that's extraordinarily expensive for an individual. Maybe not for a larger company, but it was well received. We got high marks for great preparation, and the session went well, and we're getting knock-on benefit from that, people following up with us who had not heard of us and who are interested in working with us. So as one of my bosses used to tell me, it's important to keep doing the dance. And so this is another confirmation that working in and around commercial Part 107, as well as other commercial UAS, is critically important to us, because that's we provide a fantastic opportunity pool of people who may want to work in aviation, as well as these folks definitely figure out that, wow, FPV can be a great STEM capability in schools, and they benefit from that directly. So a positive and a great session. It was a fair amount of preparation, but came off very well. And
All right, perfect.
all I had, Josh.
All right, so Alex, what do you got for us, bud?
If you're interested, so MultiGP has their International Open MultiGP IO coming up in August 11 to 15 in Muncie, Indiana, at AMA headquarters, and they are looking for volunteers. They are in need of volunteers to help out. Event's less than 8 weeks away, and they're, with all the different changes and stuff, they are looking for volunteers. It's a great opportunity to learn the flight line at different tracks, look at learn the timing system, learn more about how races work.
So if I don't know anything about drone racing, is it still but I want to see this because it's cool and I want to volunteer, is that a good idea, Alex, or are they looking for people who are really knowledgeable about racing?
They're looking for anyone.
They need help.
They just need help.
So it's
Yes.
August 11 through 15, and who should they contact?
Go to the MultiGP. I'll actually just put a link in here, and it's the same spot that you were to sign up if you're going to be flying at the event. And so there's a link to the International Open page. You just put in a full-time volunteer ticket, and then if you could also do part-time volunteer, and then after you complete 4 time blocks, you're allowed to fly too. So if you want to do a little bit of both, volunteer and fly, you can do that.
Perfect.
With a discounted ticket. But yeah, MultiGP is looking for volunteers.
So I assume it's a volunteer position. They're not paying.
Yes.
But they volunteer. Are they offering a break on the gate, on the ticket?
Yes, it's a discounted ticket.
Cool.
So $55 instead.
And that's for the 11th through the 15th?
Yes.
Cool.
Sounds like a fun event. All right, so I have the UAS safety reporting system. So we'll go live on this. Here is the website for anybody who is interested. Got UAS safety reporting. So it goes through. It has different areas where it's got the FAQs. You can get that kind of information. But right here at the top is the submit a UAS report form. And it gives you this. This again details the the anonymous nature of the report. So it says the information you provide on the identity strip will be used only if NASA determines that it's necessary to contact you for further information. This identity strip will be returned directly to you. The return of the identity strip assures your anonymity. Yeah, I can't even say that word, but anywho, there's too many
Took me a long
ends in
time
it.
to be able to say anonymized.
Right. So if we continue into the report, you can see. Let's see if I can zoom this in a bit, make it a little bigger for everybody. There is a lot of information that they're looking for. I was kind of going through some of this while Dave was chatting. It has telephone numbers and the hours between which you can call, or they can call if they need to. It's got your name and address. Again, this identity strip will be returned to you and will assure your anonymous nature of
Yeah,
your
that's a whole
report.
lot of personal
Now,
information for an anonymous form.
right. And however, only the name, the address, and this basically your address are required in terms of that information, it seems like. But it says here, please fill in all blanks to ensure the return of strip. No record will be kept of your identity. Then we've got the type of event or situation. You have airspace incursion, excursion, a collision between an aircraft. It could be two aircraft. It could be an aircraft and a person, or an aircraft and an object, a deviation, an equipment issue, a flyaway, an injury, lost link near midair. So two aircraft less than 500 feet. So Alex,
Fishing.
exactly. There you go.
Well, I had a midair on my race this past weekend. We both recovered
man.
and finished.
Nice.
Good job.
That was fun.
That's
I got the
awesome.
DVR of it too.
Oh, good. You gotta post that up.
Anytime you fly with a
we have
friend, it's less than 500 feet.
Right. We have a sighting, and we have an uncontrolled or controlled descent, which was a fall from the sky. So all us freestyle pilots that like to cut our motors at altitude, right? So it asks you if how you were involved, if you were part of a multi-GP or a multi-person crew. And now you got me saying multi-GP. Your location, how long you've been manipulating the controls of UAS. So what's your total time, or basically your experience with drones, the time spent in the last 90 days, and the time in the current model that you were flying. If you have any manned aircraft flight experience, if you hold any FAA certificates or ratings, the weather, the visibility, the airspace, the FAA the airspace authorization provider. This would be, like your Kitty Hawk or your Aloft, or your Air Map or UAS Sidekick or whatever. You give information on your drone, whether you were flying under, what rule you were flying under, whether it was recreational or 107 or 135 or whatever.
Could you click on the drop down to the weight category and then the
Yeah, absolutely. So we have micro, which is
Oh, they don't come up for us. We can't see what that
Not
is.
showing us.
Oh,
That's
you can't
weird.
see that?
No.
Okay.
It's just sharing the
That
back.
is weird.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh, that's weird. So you have here. I can click this. And
Oh, then we see it.
Micro UAS, small UAS, which is between 0.55 pounds and 55 pounds. You
So
have
it's
a
like the
medium
registration
UAS.
size.
Yeah. And then you have a medium UAS, which is at or above 55 pounds, but less than 1,320 pounds.
Jeez.
And then you have a large UAS, which is at or above 1,320 pounds.
I need to
I'd like
build
to
a
meet
large
the
UAS.
You and me both, man. Let's do it.
You buy it, I'll build it.
Who's gonna fly it and get
the other way around?
Get permission to fly it?
That's funny. So for configurations, we have multi-rotor, fixed wing, helicopter, or a hybrid, which would be like a VTOL. Let's see. So the rules, you have 91, 107, 133, 135, 137, public aircraft operations, and then limited recreational, which is categorized as Section 349. If you have an airworthiness approval certification, if you have waivers, what type of operator it was. So the options are recreational, military, government, commercial, air taxi, air carrier, your missions, which there's a whole bunch of them, one of which is recreational and hobbyist, or photo shoot, agriculture, test flights, training, so on and so forth. Whether you were flying VLOS or BVLOS, did you have a visual observer? What type of control mode, whether it was manual, flight phase that the incident happened in, which would be your takeoff, climb, cruise, hovering, descent, landing, and so on and so forth. So this just goes on and on and
Wow.
on. They gather a lot of information, and then you've got the describe the event.
They're even
So,
asking to
this
report
is,
if it's an indoor.
For who? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
noticed
So
the who what for the describe. I thought they didn't want the who.
Yeah.
who, what,
That was
where,
supposed to be
when, why.
autonomous.
Well, if I were putting in a report, I would probably leave out the who. But again, they are supposed to be able to go through and scrub all this information for any personally identifying information. So, but again, there's a lot of information here, and doesn't seem like they're focused obviously on successful operations, but you could always file racing under near midair, right?
Or midair in the case of my flight from the
A
last race
collision,
that I
yeah,
went
we'll
to.
call it a collision.
Was there any capability to query reports that are already up?
Let's go back to the
Because
initial
apparently
page here.
I do know that there are, it's being populated and people are using this.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. The information you provide is kept confidential. Let's see. Share lessons with others.
No.
FAA offers protection against civil penalties.
Without
Certificate
form.
exchange for-
Why should I report? Yada yada. Okay, there are the FAQs.
I am not seeing any way to browse. Questions or feedback, sign up, immunity.
Yeah, it doesn't
So
look
let's look at this immunity. Oh, there's a whole immunity policy. Interesting. Prohibition against the there's a regulation against using these reports for enforcement purposes. So there you go. Good deal.
interesting. Yeah.
Let's see, processing, de-identification, enforcement policy, other reports, availability of forms. Let's see, are available for access and secure electronic filing. Forms from the site may be accessed, printed, and completed by hand or accessed, but it doesn't say where I can read them. What is this? Just clicking on random stuff here. Huh.
Okay. Yeah, it's not going to surprise me if it's not available.
Yeah. So, but pretty interesting. Oh, here you go. Right here. Yeah. Search the ASRS database. Wow, right in front of my face. Start my search. Oh, okay. Shrink this down a
Complicated
little bit.
search.
A little bit. Make model. Let's see. Let's hit the plus sign.
Oh, let's see. Can you actually just
Oh,
type
goodness.
in? Oh, you can't just type in search terms.
Yeah, you can up here. Sorry, you're not seeing this.
Oh,
but
not seeing the whole thing. Just curious if you just typed in
yeah,
like
there's another window here that popped up.
like BVLOS. Does that show up anywhere, or does FPV show up anywhere?
Here, give me a few seconds and I'll make FPV show up somewhere.
Let's see. Okay, so maybe not make model. Let's get rid of this. Mission, federal part of regulation. Okay, so can we do 103, 107? It doesn't look like they've added the drone. Either there haven't been reports, like recreational, or part 107 in here.
Nothing on part 107 because that's what I heard is being populated.
Let's see.
Maybe they still have, because don't they have to review them to make sure that they get rid of the personal information first?
They're busy anonymizing.
They might still be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might still be doing that.
I could use that excuse for years if I worked there. Oh,
right.
We've got a backlog. Oh yeah, it's a knife fight out there.
It's a knife fight. Did you really? Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in regards to drones yet.
Okay, well, it's good that we can search on it if when Alex reports his his propeller losses, we can search on those queries.
Yeah,
absolutely. The propeller loss is for NTSB. I don't think that one is anonymous.
Yeah, I would tend to agree.
I'm wondering if they haven't set up, because this might just be the straight up the manned aviation search for the ASRS database.
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't set up the UAS version for search yet.
Could be, but it sounds like they may. So this is good.
Yeah. So.
And we should note that Alex dropped in the chat his DVR of his awesome video. I haven't watched it yet. I've been
his midair recovery.
Paying attention. Yeah, I'll definitely watch it.
We're going to copy this link. We're going to throw it up in here, and we'll all watch it.
If you look at the flag in the middle, we want to run around it 3 times.
Got some heavy metal music going there, huh? There you go. Oh.
This is a fast track. Yeah, it's close. A couple times. We were like pretty much next to each other the entire time. Little figure 8.
This is not sped up.
No, it's not. You can look at the timer at the bottom. You can see that was 3 times around that middle flag.
Oh my word.
Yep, little roundabout there. You should have seen what that was like when we had 5 pilots in the air.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
And that was our midair.
Oh, wow.
With recovery.
Wow, that went far.
Yeah.
So do you just do like when in doubt, throttle out kind of thing? You hit somebody and you just full throttle and hope it recovers?
No, I didn't full throttle, but that was just the auto recovery from Betaflight.
Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Because we hit and then it pointed my quad into the ground and then I bounced up and then that's when it recovered from the spin.
Oh, okay.
And then after I got control of it again, I just went right back into the course.
3.3 volts per cell. Remind me to never loan you any of my drones.
Why? It was only 3 laps.
Torturing the battery.
You should have seen what it was at when I was doing 5 laps. What you should have seen what it was like when I was doing 5 or 6 laps.
Oh goodness.
I couldn't get to 2 minutes.
Amazing level of speed. That's awesome.
Yep, great job, dude. All right, well, with that, I believe it's only us left, but that's cool.
There is one thing we should talk about. We should advertise more that the DAC, the Drone Advisory Committee, is coming up next Wednesday. And so anybody who can should tune in and watch that either on wherever they have it streamed, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, I don't know, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
all of the above.
Noon to 2:30 Eastern.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and I don't believe Dave will be presenting this time, unfortunately, but he has done a lot of great work on these current committees. So
our name is in the write-ups for the thank yous on both reports, and we'll probably get a mention in at least one of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I see that they have published.
Check that out.
They've published the ebook for it, so if people want to see what the agenda is, it's out there.
Yeah, throw that link. Throw that link in there, Dan.
Let's
If you got it.
see. Yeah, I think I've got this. So there's what they call
There
the
you go.
ebook, what I would call sort of like a outline or agenda or whatever for the
Ooh.
meeting.
216 pages.
Yeah. Well, I
There's
mean, as
there's
we
usually
know, just
more
about
in that
Normal
really
than they
person.
actually cover. Yeah, like this actually
Yeah,
has the full
that's true.
reports
It's a
of
lot.
the groups in it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Slides. It should contain the slides as well as the narratives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So definitely check
public
that out,
comments
guys.
submitted it after the last DAC meeting. Are there any? Yeah, it looks like there's one. So if people ever want the DAC to read their messages, like they put them in the minutes.
Yeah, if you submit questions for the DAC, they will put them in there, and they do put that information into the meeting too. So definitely a good place to ask a question, get a response. So definitely check that out, and then we'll find out during that next DAC meeting what the new committee assignments will be, and we'll kind of see where things go. But we've
report
got
on that on our
DAC.
next meeting.
Yep, and we've got the DAC. We've got the new BV loss arc coming up, and so a lot of good things happening, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on. So with that, we'll let you all go.
Thanks. See you in 2
All
weeks.
right. Have a good evening.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care.